Oh, what you thought? You thought it was over with? You thought it was safe? Child, please. What? You said what? What? Oh, I'm crazy. I done went crazy. Who you talking to? You ain't gonna believe this. You are not gonna believe. Shook, okay? No, shook. YouTube, lifers and loved ones, welcome back to the channel. As always, it's Biz Lifestyle, baby, back like we never left, and it feels amazing to be here. All right, life is good, and I've missed you. But you know how it is. But we gonna get into it. Let's jump right into it. I was a little shook. I can admit it. I'm a grown woman. I can tell the truth out here. I was a little shook. You know that saying? Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. I can admit that I didn't necessarily take into consideration like the effect that it would have on me. I didn't necessarily take into account how it might affect my energy to have to relive those experiences, but I'm a woman of my word. All right. I told you I would continue to make the content, and I meant it. I thank all of you who stuck with me. You could have very easily unsubscribed. Some of you did, but I'm not mad. We don't do bitter. We just get better, and I accept responsibility. I'm ready to move on. I am not just regurgitating something I heard. I'm not just repeating what other people say. Like, I'm not living through other people's experiences, and I have to admit that it's a bit taxing on the energy to have to relive it, but we're not victims out here. Clearly, we win. I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. So we're going to continue to keep it moving. So we keep it moving around here. All right. But I will admit that I didn't necessarily take into account, how much it would grow. I've always said, as I made this content, this is a lifestyle based channel. But when the people have spoken, okay, when you have a higher calling upon your life, when the universe, when nature, when God gives you a voice, gives you a purpose, it's your responsibility. Like, it ain't even on you. Like, I got karmic debts to pay. Like, I ain't no saint. I've been wrong out here. I done wrong out here. I done dirt out here. But I have an opportunity to get right through this content. So I'm here and truly never left. And yes, I can make a bunch of excuses. I could give you a bunch of reasons. I could say life be lifing. I could say work be working. I could say all that. And some of those things are true. Been extremely busy. Life has been good to me. Taking an opportunity to connect with my family, taking opportunities to better myself. I'm on a fitness journey. I'm on a cut. I'm out here getting my steps right now. But as I am a content creator, I'm always ready to jump in front of the camera. So I decided to plug in the mic and get busy. And I want to keep it tall with you all, because I have to tell the truth. I had to make sure that I wasn't idolizing the blessing. That's important too. As God and the universe continues to anoint me and appoint me and, elevate my life and give me opportunities, I got to make sure that I'm prioritizing my relationship, and I'm staying in my word, and my prayer life is solid, and I'm growing in that, and I'm not forgetting, who the blessings come from, and I'm not forgetting why I'm continued this grace. Like, I'm given this grace, this ability to continue to wake up every day, and I'm given another shot to get it right. I had to make sure that I wasn't idolizing YouTube. Like, I wasn't idolizing Instagram, that I wasn't idolizing, having people subscribe to my content. And that's just me being forthright. But enough of all that. I was shook. Some other things have occurred, some other experiences. We got the pleasantries out the way. I want to talk about what to do when they come back all of a sudden, bro. When that toxic or narcissistic person in your life decides to rear their ugly head, because you do come to a point in life, for some of us who are fortunate, where you move on, you've remained in no contact, you've been able to distance yourself. Maybe you took a new position, maybe a new job with a new company. They don't know where you work. You got a new residence, a new address. You moved out of state. You might have healed enough to begin, connecting and entertaining the possibility of dating again. You found a new friend group. You've cut out all those people from the past in the spirit of starting anew and starting fresh and being able to, live life fuller again, but remain in no contact and not having to constantly feel like you got to look over your shoulder and question every single thing. And then bam! toxic and narcissistic person, I don't know how they do it. They have an uncanny ability to know when you're doing better and you're moving on. And here comes the Hoover. And you prepare for it as much as you can, like you really do. But you never know when it's gonna come. And sometimes 3 months go, 6 months, 2 years go by, and all this time, like, there has to be another outlet, another source of supply. Ain't you had like 7 new supplies since me? I ain't got nothing left. I don't have nothing left. I don't have nothing left. Not for you. I don't have nothing left to give you. Move on. Okay, but we're gonna talk about what it is that we can do. We're gonna talk about how to kind of mentally prepare yourself, for the Hoover. Let me calm myself down, because I done got a little upset. I got a little upset, but I'm here. But I'm not upset with you, and I appreciate you. Stay tuned. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Understanding that the Hoover is going to come. I think for some of us, our awareness of like toxic and narcissistic traits it comes at different phases for us. I was in a position where I was blessed enough to kind of be making myself aware of it. I tend to be a self-taught individual, and I'm like a critical thinker and a problem solver. So when I find myself in certain situations, like, I kind of want to make sense of it and understand how I got there. So as I was in the midst of it, even before I went gray rock and then no contact, I was already kind of educating myself and like checking off the boxes, and the light bulbs are starting to go off, like, oh, this is really real. Like, this is why this person does the things that they do. This is why they're acting. Okay, so I understand we're all having our own unique experience, but it's a mindset thing. Okay, you have to kind of understand what it is that you're dealing with in order to be prepared. No contact is a must. No contact is money. If you have not had an opportunity to do so, I'll go ahead and throw it up over here on the screen. Check out the Healing and Understanding playlist. I will thoroughly explain gray rock, and I'll also go in depth about no contact and how it is that you can realistically take steps into getting there, because it's easier said than done. A lot of people jump in front of the camera and they just say, oh, just go no contact. You just leave, but I get it. It's not always that easy. Sometimes we have ties to these toxic and narcissistic people, and we need to get out strategically so that we can stay out. So make sure that you check out the Healing and Understanding playlist if you haven't had a chance to do so already. All right. But you want to have an understanding and be able to shift your mindset so that you're ready. You have to be prepared for the Hoover before it happens, or else you're not going to know how to handle it, because you're going to be so busy trying to figure out what exactly it is. And if it's true, are they really different? Did they change for this other person? It looked like on social media they were treating the new supply so much better. Maybe they have made a change. Like, you might be thinking that if you're not aware of what's going on. They didn't change for themselves. They didn't change for their creator. They didn't change for their families. They didn't change for their children. They didn't change for the old supply. They're not going to change for the new supply. And they definitely aren't changing for you. They may change up their strategy. They may change up their plan of attack. Their desire to finish you and break you and cause you pain and cause you anguish. That plan may have changed, but that's about it. These people shapeshift, but they don't change, and they certainly don't change for the better. And it's sad. You know, if they could put some of the energy that they put into trying to dismantle people into being a better version of themselves, the world would be a better place. But I digress. Let's move on. Boom. Now that you know that they haven't changed, now that you know that only their strategy changes and only their intentions to continue to finish you change, only their desire like to hurt you increases, we're ready. Believe in yourself. A part of the reason why we ended up with this toxic or narcissistic person in the first place was because we didn't believe in ourselves. We didn't have our boundaries intact. We didn't have our self-love intact. I admit it. That's exactly what happened to me. Looking back on it, I don't feel like I had low self-esteem. And I'm not going to give my power away by saying that I was vulnerable, because I don't like that. Maybe it's just my pride. I don't know. I don't want to say I was vulnerable. But I will say I was wounded. I could say that I was wounded. I take responsibility. But, you know, we ain't playing the victim, but I was wounded at the time. And my boundaries weren't set. So that's how I ended up there. I couldn't do it. I didn't like the person I was becoming. I didn't like the way I felt about myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't like how I was carrying myself. I didn't like the self-talks I was having. I came to the realization, like, I'm doing too much. I'm out here, I'm working too hard. This shouldn't take this much. Like, I'm doing too much. I'm doing way too much and getting nothing in return. This is a bad investment. I gotta get out. That's how I felt. Upside down. I was super upside down in that connection. And I just got tired of it. I got tired of it. But they're gonna come back. I just saw a ladybug, so y'all know what that means. So moving on. Be ready. Be ready. Have your mind made up that you don't want it anymore. And that's really the only surefire way to resist the Hoover. Because truthfully, if you were only done with this toxic and narcissistic relationship was because they discarded you, and you haven't made up in your mind, like, challenge accepted, like you accepted this card and you're ready to make them stand on the fact that they threw you away. If you're not ready and it was on their terms and you're not just done, sometimes you just get sick and tired and being sick and tired. You're just sick and tired. If you're not all the way done, it's a chance you might go back because of that feeling that we have sometimes where we want to be right. Sometimes we don't want what's best for us. We want to be right. And you got to keep that in check. That's ego. That's pride. And they use the things that they know about us against us. So if you're in your ego and in your pride and they've seen those traits in you and they know that's how you operate, they're going to use that to come back. They're going to tug on your heartstrings. They're going to challenge you. They're going to push you. They're going to pull you until they get the response out of you that they want. Make sure it's on your terms. And understand this. Don't be confused. That may not necessarily be easy. You know, sometimes in relationships, we have a hatred to lean on during a breakup, so we don't want to go back. But this may not necessarily be that situation. Get the hatred out of your heart. It's not about that. It's about you now. It's not about them. Them. It's not about that. This is on your terms now. Put your feelings to the side. Go in that self-preservation mode that I'll talk about. It's about you. And once you decide, regardless of your feelings and your curiosities, and maybe they're doing better and maybe we're not going back. It's out of the question. You have to put that thought in your mind, plant that seed in your mind and water it, give it sunlight and nurture it and know that there is no going back. It's over. Move on. One foot in front of the other, step by step, we're done. Flip that switch in your mind and stay on your guard. Live your life, kick your feet up, be comfortable. Make progress, focus on you, do the shadow work, but understand that there's a possibility that they may try to come back, but don't let that haunt you. Don't be shook like I was shook when it first happened to me. Like, I was a little taken aback, but that's because I wasn't healed all the way. I wasn't all the way ready initially when they did the Hoover. Because such is life. Because such is life. A lot of times life gives us tests. And if you keep failing the test, kind of like the DMV, you're going to have to take it again. I had to take the Hoover test more than once before I passed it with flying colors. But eventually I passed that thing with flying colors. We going on a couple years no contact now. And once you get to a certain point, you're not going to go back. Like, you have too many days where you wake up feeling happy about where you're at and who you are and who you're not, that you can't go back. And you are loving on yourself. The more you love on yourself, and your confidence goes up, like, you don't want that anymore. It don't even feel good. You don't even look at them the same. Like, you might come across old pictures. Like, I've come across old pictures. I'm kind of like, ugh. You know, I had my stank attitude on. I was being petty. It is what it is. But understand on your terms that there is no going back. There is no going back.